All right, so this recording is going to be an architect actually interviewing me, a marketer who actually helps architects, and he's going to be running through a lot of questions that he had. To really, honestly, he covers things like how do you guarantee lead quality, what's my history as a marketer, and how that's relevant for him, and then a lot of subtle topics about scaling an architectural firm, architectural, other firms with stories with architectural firms, and then I think by the end of this, you should be really clear as to like who I am, also how I actually help architects, and how I could definitely help you in your considering as who should hire to actually grow your firm marketing wise, stuff like that. So definitely watch this interview. It's a really good one. See you at the end.
Times than not more important. But even your engineering mind, like if you want, that needs to be cured first. If you're asking me, like, can I actually produce the quality? We have a legit way we track this. I don't know if you want me to actually walk you through it, but in terms of actually building that certainty around, can we bring the quality? I can absolutely show you
Mhm.
exactly that. Not like testimonials or, I mean, did you see the site that I sent you, revmax.com/results?
Yeah.
Okay. So you've seen like everything in there, correct?
Hmm.
Yeah. So like that's always the pretty stuff you were mentioning in the beginning, right? Now we have tracking systems in the back end because obviously I mentioned to you like the feedback from sales to marketing, right? Having those as congruent as possible, which means that we're gonna have to have the architect score every lead between 1 through 10 to tell us what the quality is.
Hmm.
Do you see how like that would establish a level of like quality control just from the architect's
Yeah.
point of view, not even subjective to ours?
Yeah.
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 And so if we
Okay.
had that 1 to 10 rubric, I'll just give you some, I'll give you like 5 examples. Should I walk through it?
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Because I mean, if you're saying that the gut feeling of can I get the quality from this, I'm confident in my sales skills, but I'm not so sure about the quality. Let's just start there. Because then again, even if you don't get that solved, there's still going to be this gut feeling of like, I still feel a bit iffy or irky about it. So pretty straightforward, right? If I walk through some of these, you can see these numbers. These are all leads scores. Now, some of these appointments are hours, as in we've like Michelangelo, like Barry Jackson, like these guys have been booked to our calendar and we were DQing them or etc. But the ones that are scored are the ones that Eddie or the architect actually spoke with. I have 5 examples up here. Um, Essentially, what you'll see is that anything above a 6 is typically quality. That's how we rate it. Anything above a 6 is
Okay.
qualified. Now, are they ready to close maybe in the next 30 days? Probably not. But they're still sales worthy. They'll be able to close within the next 60, 90, and then obviously anything past that is probably a 5 out of 10, just not qualified because they need to be nurtured. They still are in
Hmm.
follow up, right? So anything below a 6 out of 10 is typically a dreamer, doesn't even have the land yet, early browser, stuff like that. And so what happens is that anything above a six, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is typically a good qualified lead from the architect's perspective. Like, okay, I can actually send a proposal to this person and potentially close this deal. That's basically their impression.
Hmm.
So if I go to like something like this, you see 6, 9, 7, 7. You can see in the first 5 appointments, or no, four. No, I'm lying. That's five. 5 appointments, fairly quality, right? Then you have 105,000 proposal, $115,000 proposal, stuff like that. And so if we go down this list, you'll see 9, 5. Obviously, this is not going to be quality, John Thomas. And then if we go down to more, we have 8. Dwight, I had a conversation with him yesterday. He has to update his. Obviously, you can see he's not filling these out, right? So I got to get on him about it. But you can
Yeah.
see that with Dwight, Winston, and Gumaro, which is what proposal? 115,000. And then yeah, Winston was one. No, yes, he's a builder. We're trying to get him back on the calendar. This is just one example of many where he is going into the survey that he gets and he's rating them as an 8. And
Okay.
so he's basically saying like these people are if I go to an 8, it's a premium prospect. If it's a 7, they're sales ready. I can send a proposal and potentially close this deal. Like that's just one example. If I go to someone else like WDA, you can see here from the jump, 8 premium, premium 0. This guy is actually another architect that opted in. I don't know. And we actually work with this guy. I don't know why he did that. I was like, dude, I know you want to like look into other people's funnels, but you're opting into our own clients' funnels. Just
Hmm.
stop. 9, Steve Senia. This guy was a good, really great guy, but this firm particularly was very slow with getting out proposals. It would take them like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and so people would just move on to the next architect
Hmm.
because it was taking too long. So that's what I'm saying, right? Like I can bring the quality, I can bring the guy that has the intent, they're the main decision maker, they have the resources, but truly, like if you aren't really great at sales, you don't have like successful systems to get out proposals quickly, stuff like that. Give the prospect the feeling that you're their best next step. I mean, it doesn't matter what lead you speak with, they won't go with you.
Yep.
Right. So like Steve, 9, Orlando was a good one. You can see we had this period where we had 3 appointments that are really trash. You could see on the left DQ. I think Ray's broke. And so obviously that's feedback. Hey, what happened to our
Hmm.
appointments here? Why are they being booked um, with this type of level of quality? And so then we have our bounce back. Bim Pin was a 9, great feedback. Qualified, being sent proposal. The guy sent an email. He was in Dubai. Follow up in like 30 days. Jorge Luna, I think that's actually on the Revvmax results call because this was a $330,000 proposal. And then if I just keep going, 7, 8, 7, 7, 9, anything below 6 is not quality. So these are
Hmm.
above that rating. If I go to Mansara,
Okay.
we have a 2, not super quality, just pressing for price, trying to get the cheapest thing. This guy should not have been on the calendar. We bounce back. We got a 6 for Philip. He's a developer. We have another 4. This guy was just pressing for price, I believe. That our partner was a construction firm, general contracting. I think he was very adamant about getting the price. And then we bounce back. So a 6, we have a 9. This person closed. We have an 8, another 6, a 5, a 6, 7. You can see this guy's not qualified. And it's only because the guy has a project. He's sales ready. She does not want to get licensed in Cali to take on the project because it's just too small. So it's not
Hmm.
super quality. 6 and a 6 here. This guy are these guys they really want to get closed. And then we have Nikhil, which she mentioned was a good one. She just hasn't filled out the survey yet. So if I go to like Mansara, she said Nikhil, he's a serious developer, really needs help, and so does Kenneth Brown Phillip. All 3 landowners concerned, afraid, uncertain what they have will work. They had a project, want to move forward. She's basically getting anxious. She's like,
Hmm.
I'm afraid of losing Kenneth and Nikhil. Converting them into clients would be wonderful because their project is so beautiful. I know we'll enjoy it so much. Hunter, we need to talk because she wants, obviously help with the sales part. This was yesterday.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's another example. Methodium, their first appointment was a 6. The only issue is that they want like a 20,000 square foot place for like a $2 million budget, which is like $125 per square foot. Obviously, that's not
Not happening.
reasonable, not reasonable at all. So there's probably a correction of expectations. But as long as it
Yeah.
seems like the reason it's even a 6 is because they have the financials, but they're just under the wrong expectation.
Hmm.
Now, if they were under the wrong expectation and did not have the financials, it'd be a major DQ. Right. And that's just their first. This
Yeah.
was the 24th of March, so about 3 days ago. Alcala is another one. They actually had 18 appointments. 9 of them they're actually following up with. They're still working right now. But as you can see, like 5, not quality. We have a 7, another 7, a 6. And like these are the architects' rating. It's not our subjective. And as you can see, they're really bad about filling out their lead quality scores, which is like
Hmm.
something. It's probably one of the most painful problems we have across the board. 6, 8, stuff like that. And then they have a major sales issue as well. The way they approach these calls, we just hopped on a call yesterday talking about changes we were going to make. So this is like the reality. This is the unpretty picture where this is
Hmm.
where time goes by, money's been spent, and now we actually have data on what our biggest constraints are. And that's what
Okay.
these scores allow us to do is like know the difference between like an agency that gets you appointments and they're like, oh, we got you 10 appointments, you didn't close them, so that's your fault. You suck at sales. When in reality, it's maybe the appointments suck. So we have
Yeah.
to have a way to measure it, and the rubric is the way that we do that. So
Okay.
it's how I can be confident in being like, we can get you the quality. Most of your appointments will be quality, at least about 6. And from that point, it's really just up to the architect or the firm or your services or pricing structure, etc., to really pull that one through.
Hmm.
Do you
Okay.
see like all that connection as well? Like, does that at least help maybe from the engineering mind, the gut feeling?
Oh yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that it definitely helps for sure.
Any thoughts on that? Does that resonate at all?
Yeah. I mean, it's encouraging to see those types of things and to see, the amount of leads and stuff that are coming through and
Mm,
that these guys are getting. So yeah, definitely. I mean, again, it's like I don't get really see what the projects are, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. So at this point, so I have just a couple more questions. So,
good.
how long has the company been in business?
We've been in business since last year, April.
Okay. So April 25. So you guys are going on about 8 months now. Well,
Yeah,
actually a year, just coming up on 1 year.
yeah.
Okay. Are you the owner?
I am the owner. Yep.
Oh, perfect. Well, good. That's good.
I'm
I
the
always
owner
like to
in the
talk to
sales
owners.
process, man. Let's go.
Yes.
Cracking 100K
Yep.
months, man. Simple as
Yep.
that.
No, I gotcha. How many people do you have working for you right now? I mean,
Right.
what makes up your team?
So because lead flow is not humongous like it would be in real estate or
Hmm.
something, we only have six.
Six.
Most of our
Okay.
people are
No, I
salespeople
mean,
related.
yeah, I mean, it's more than you, which is helpful because
Yeah,
that's
we're
not
like a
what I am. I
lean.
don't have more than me, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, no, I understand. And then, I mean, I'm literally going to interview you a little bit. So, like, what brought you to this? Like, what's your education? What's your background? How'd you end up where you are?
I'm glad you're asking this question because it makes me think we should probably drop just some content on this exact
Hmm.
piece. Um, which is one of the reasons why like we're ambitious about getting more case studies and testimonials and signing on people. Like
Yeah.
before, what I'm pitching you today, it's not what I was pitching before. We were charging like $6,500 up front,
Hmm.
major 10%, like very expensive. But then we just found like we would the people that we could help, we couldn't because they couldn't financially afford it. Maybe that's a marketing
Hmm.
issue. It probably is. Um, and so we downplayed everything, and we really are just again since launching in April, 8 months, almost a year now. Our biggest goal is getting more testimonials and case studies out, building a brand, because we see how large the gap is when it comes to acquisition systems in the architectural industry.
Hmm.
I've never
Yeah.
spoken to an architect that unless they have $2,000 $3,000 proposals they're sending out, like very churn and burn kind of architectural firms. I've actually worked with a couple, they're the only ones that are running ads because they're really after people that just have 2 3 thousand bucks to put towards some plans and then just
Hmm.
really efficiently put those out and then get on to the next line. We worked with a firm that was doing that at like a 300,000 a month scale per month, and they were spending about
Wow.
60 $70,000 a month on ads. Um, anyways, all that to say, I'm glad you're asking that because it probably is some data to be like, hey, we should probably get more active on social media because all of our acquisitions paid. We put money
Yeah.
in, we get exactly what we do for you guys. Um, yeah, with that to say, your question is what exactly? Just so I'm clear.
So, what brought you to what you're doing?
Mhm,
Like, what's your background? Like what's your education? Just like, tell me about you. What would your resume say?
mhm. My resume would say um, that we fuck around, find out. That's pretty much it.
A lot of
Really,
FAFO. I like FAFO.
yeah, yeah. I would say to you, man, like if I'm gonna be as transparent as possible, I don't have a
Yeah.
marketing degree. That's for sure. I'm
Okay.
about to be Eminem for a second and just like absolutely on myself first, and then go into the good
Hmm.
stuff because ultimately I'll just be transparent with you. I do not have a high school degree either. I dropped out like as late as the last year because long story short, I was schooling in Florida. They require a certain amount of credits. I went to Texas. They require a different amount of credits. I was like, I'm not
Hmm.
spending 2 years in school when I already have this successful business and I want to just focus on this. So I dropped
Yeah.
out. Since dropping out, I just entirely focused on helping like solar sales reps, firms,
Yep.
those businesses grow their businesses by offering the lead gen, appointment setting, just the acquisition systems most of them didn't have. Because it's mostly a door to door industry.
Hmm.
Um, but with that all to say, I was helping them. We scaled that business up. And then eventually we just found I just hated working with blue collar people. I would just be
Hmm.
honest. Um, Especially, there's typically like a triangle. It's like the top of the pyramid of blue collar people, they're typically more professional. They're
Hmm.
not bending over the sink and their cheeks are hanging out. Like they're much
Yeah.
more professional. They talk more with more cadence. Um, they're very business acumen. Like they understand it. Like they are great people to work with. They have
Yeah.
proven systems. They know how to sell. Like they have the skill sets. Very great people. But then that's such a small percentage of the majority, which is just like average Joes that really want to make a buck in
Yeah.
solar and they have no skill sets whatsoever. It's extremely difficult to work with them. They have no financial ability to do anything crazy. So eventually, from there, I ended up shutting that business down. I did not enjoy it whatsoever, and I ended up just going to sales. So I actually just
Hmm.
ended up saying, forget client fulfillment. Like I just want to like get good at one thing, and to me that was sales. So I hopped into high ticket sales, which is exactly what you guys are doing on your end, which is hopping on a Zoom call, convincing someone that they're your best next step.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any feedback from me from our last call, but that was just basically a demonstration. And it's the same thing the architects do on their calls, where it's like your client should feel excited. They should feel like, man, this is great. Like this is my best next step, something of that
Yeah.
nature,
Yeah.
right? And so I basically just went all in for like a year or two, maybe a year and a half or two, where I was only doing that. And honestly, it was the most money I've ever made. The most I've ever grown as a person because you're in
Yeah.
different environments. It's typically when you run a business, you're by yourself.
Yeah.
That's not ideal, but
And you wear every single hat and you
exactly.
have to do everything and you stress nonstop.
Exactly, exactly.
I get it. Trust me, I get it.
Yeah, there's unknown unknowns that you don't know, like
Yeah.
things you just don't know about yet, and you won't find out until you get yourself in environments or different places where then you can find those things out. And I think closing for like multi-million, like million a month companies, stuff like that, was probably the best thing I could have ever done because I got a huge network. I was able to make more money than I ever made in my life. I was able to establish skill sets that I never had before, not just
Mhm.
like average skill sets. And you know what they say, jack of all trades is a master of none.
Yeah.
But being a master of, I don't know what it was, what the other part of that quote is, but basically saying
Yeah.
that it's better to be a good at a lot of things than great at just one thing.
Hmm.
Because obviously, if you're average at a lot of things, you can be a CEO because it's typically what they are. They're good at a lot of things, but they aren't great at one specific thing.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I just went into sales, and then I made a lot of money. I made really great connections. I learned a skill set that I absolutely adore and love. Because it wasn't like sales, like script wise, where I'm just sitting here reading my paper and I'm just like reading it to you, and then hoping that things actually move forward. Like I'm genuinely present with you. I'm genuinely listening to you. I'm genuinely have
Yeah.
the intention to help. The most genuine form of sales. And we would close like 25, I think, yeah, $25,000 deals over Zoom, just like we are now. And I do that over and over again, right? So I think the
Hmm.
biggest point, that's that. After that happened, I decided to get back into business because the one thing I didn't like about sales was the lack of freedom. I couldn't go wherever I wanted. I was stuck to someone's calendar. I'd have to like my calendar and my income is in someone else's hands. I close someone
Hmm.
25,000, I get 10%. That makes me
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
where's the other 90% to that
Yep.
fat deal? You know what
Yep.
I mean? So
Yeah.
I remember remembering being grateful about how the business ran. But then in the beginning, when I was running the solar one, it was like, yes, I made great money, but I had no skill sets. I wasn't really good at anything. No one would, I'd churn employees because they'd be like, I'm working with like an idiot. And I
Hmm.
was an idiot. And so then move fast forward to now, I feel much more competent, more prideful. And with the misses here, we ended up settling on doctors or architects, and we just felt like doctors was a bit too sophisticated or saturated
Oh,
in
we're
terms
not
of.
sophisticated?
Yeah, that's the wrong
I'm
word I was using.
joking.
No,
I'm
no, that's
only
the wrong
kidding.
word.
I
It's
know what you
saturated.
meant.
Yeah, it's saturation. The doctor
Yeah.
industry is like there's 10 times the agencies in that niche versus the
Yeah.
architects. And then yeah, we basically just like effed around in FAFO, as you put it. Like that's what we
Yep.
did. We pretty much started out servicing clients, and I already had this skill set. I've already marketed. I like my entire resume is built off experience. It's not schooling, nothing like that. Unfortunately, I don't know if architects like to hear that, but truly, I don't know. At FAFO,
Oh,
I just found a
I'll be
company.
honest. I mean, I'll be absolutely honest. My diplomas, which hang on my wall right here,
Hmm.
are nothing but a piece of paper that hangs on the wall. I've learned 90% of what I know by working, not
Yeah,
because I got it in school. They don't teach you shit about codes in school. I've had to learn every bit of that on my
yeah, yeah,
own through my job, which is 98% of what I have to do. I mean, yeah, they taught me how to make pretty pictures and to think, and that's
yeah,
what I
yeah,
learned in school is how to think. If you know how to think, if you're not a dummy, then
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you already know how to do life.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I mean, it's not, and honestly, what you're talking about is no different than what I do every single day, which is taking the same kit of parts and putting in a different box. It's all you're
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about doing,
Mhm.
and honestly, it's like I have my own little thing. I have my toolbox. So every now and again, I learn a new tool, put it in the box, and every now and again, I get in that box and I find that tool that I've had to use, I've had to learn, and that's all you're doing. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many people out there. I mean, look at Bill Gates. I mean, look at that dude. Look what he owns. I
Hmm.
mean, yeah, it was Bill. No, wait, Bill Gates actually went to MIT, didn't he? Who was it? Was it Apple? Who one of those guys who owns everything? Didn't have any college education or dropped out of college, whatever it was.
Hmm.
Didn't even have Microsoft. Didn't even have a program at the time that he sold Microsoft and what it was. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
and it's like, I mean, he basically stole everything he had from Intel. I mean, so it's like, I mean, all of this shit, it's like, how can you steal and put stuff together? So honestly,
yeah.
like the fact that you're uneducated I'll call higher education, whatever you want to call it. I don't
Yeah,
give a
yeah.
shit. It's whether or not you can do the job, and that's kind of the way I feel about it. So it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, sounds like you've got a lot of good experience and stuff like that. So, uh,
Can I
and,
use
and
this as
again,
a can I use this as a can I take this recording and use it? Because I might just put it up on
yeah,
you. Not the whole thing, obviously. Like I'm not trying
yeah,
to out anybody, but I
yeah.
like the questions
Uh-uh.
you're asking for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. And, and that's the thing is that, like, you know, getting to know somebody a little bit more personally, personally, that's not even a word. I'm now making stuff up like Michael Scott. Make it more personal. It's like it allows this conversation between us to be a little more open and free. And
Of course.
honestly, that's the way I like to treat my clients. That's the way I like to talk to them. I try to give them a sense of ease and when I speak with them.
Hmm.
And so, they get comfortable and it also helps build trust between us. So, and then like I always give everybody like my little caveat, like, what the hell are my business cards? So I always tell people, so, this is this is my business card. So it
Yeah.
is black and white. This is my logo. And I tell them I am black and white because I'm transparent. You're going to get everything's black and white. There's no gray area with me. And
Hmm.
that's just the way that it is. And if you hate something, if I'm doing something for you you don't like, you need to tell me because this is not my house. This is not my business. I'm here trying to help you be better.
Yeah.
And you're not going to hurt my feelings if you hate something because I am going to throw everything against the wall and we're going to see what sticks. And some of it will. And when it does, we're going to all be in love. So, I mean, that's just the way that I feel about my projects and my clients
Yeah,
and how I
yeah.
want them to get there. And we all
Such an
get there
old
together.
school thing, man. I've
Yeah. I mean,
like just the way you communicate it. It's like, yeah,
mhm,
my dad would say stuff like that or things of
mhm,
that nature. Yeah.
yeah. So, but um, I think that basically got through. Oh, the only other question was, what platforms are you guys posting to? I heard you
So we'll
mention Meta before,
mhm.
but like, I mean, are you everywhere on every social platform, or are you only picking a couple?
So as much as omnipresence is super cool, um, it just takes 10 times longer to set up, which means like if I
Hmm.
were to get you on TikTok, YouTube, Google, like all these different places,
Yeah.
first of all, you'd have to have a major budget. And
Hmm.
sometimes more does equal less. Like you typically don't want a lot of acquisition, places where acquisition comes from, because then you'll have one that's outperforming everything else, but then you have all this noise from other all like the 10 different other platforms that you're using, when in
Yeah.
reality you can grow a company on one channel,
Okay.
but just what one channel done really really well. And so Meta is the one of the channels that's our bread and butter, been doing since 2022.
Okay.
um and so we've just done all in Meta, and we've been able to
Okay.
get the cheapest but also the best results from it.
Okay.
um and so yeah, that's where we focus, Meta, so it's Facebook and Instagram.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the one thing I've noticed because I do have a Facebook business channel, and I noticed that it automatically does kind of go out to Instagram as well, which is kind of nice. And I have stuff on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. I think those are the three that I'm on. So I'm on those guys. So okay.
Beautiful.
All right. And that's what I thought you had mentioned before. So so if we went together, we did everything, we signed, then would I give you admin control to my Facebook account and you guys would go and do whatever you're going to do to it
Yeah,
and
yeah. So
add through
like,
there?
so we're gonna become partners, as in we have
Yep.
our own Facebook business, you have yours, and we just become partners, meaning that I can control your assets from a distance. So you'll have
Yep.
your own ad account, you'll have your own page, all that good stuff, but we'll just be able to press buttons from a distance, essentially.
Yeah.
That's what we'll
Hmm.
set up. And then also image assets you have, as if you have renderings, like actual projects
Hmm.
that have been done, like very professional photos, et cetera, whatever.
Yeah.
We'll be able to use those in the actual ad creatives themselves. So
Okay.
those are like the three major pieces.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And it's more of the imagery is that was some of the things that I'm missing. Everything that's on my website. I don't know if you've been to my website. That stuff
Mhm.
is like, that's all my stuff, but that's all of my stuff. And I have so many more projects I haven't been getting pictures of because it's like, you finish the project, takes 6 months to build out. I'm 50 projects down the road and I don't even think about them anymore. It's just like I am like on to the next and it's like I'm done with stuff and I know it's so important to have that because the guy who manages my website right now is always on me about getting photos and stuff. And it's just like, I'm just like, I don't have time to get back out there when they're done. And then they're open and then it's like, I don't get photos. And it's like,
Yeah.
so, but yeah, that's something I need to make sure. Cause I have somebody here locally that I can hire that can go get photos and stuff for me at places. And I need to start doing that more. So, but all right, Hunter, I am about 95% more comfortable now. Hire him
Uh,
at some point.
it's so funny because we speak to a ton of architects, and it's actually not uncommon to find the fear in their eyes when it comes to, okay, I'm considering something to help me get more projects. Now, with that said, I am terrified to get more projects. Like, how
Uh-huh.
am I going to
Oh,
actually
yeah.
facilitate the work? Or I don't want to sacrifice the standard of quality that I produce as an architect and stuff like that. And one of my sales team, like they help on our clients, and the guy, his name is Michael, if you ever meet him. But he basically hopped on the call. I kind of expressed it to him. He was like, it just sounds like worst case scenario. He said, I'll actually take full credit for this. Honestly, it's such a solid, super saying. Like, I'm just like, wow, I'm gonna use this for now on. Anytime
Hmm.
any architect shines some level of uncertainty, I'm using this line. But he was just like, sounds like worst case scenario, you just grow the business. I mean, as
Hmm.
simple as that.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
you
Which
get
is what I
more.
want to do.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's
you get more
exactly what I want to
projects,
do.
you have more cash to
Yeah.
hire. It's like
Yeah.
it's. I mean, worst case scenario, you just grow the business at that point. So
Yeah. I
your
mean,
wife's
which
fear
is
is totally
exactly what I
valid.
want.
It
Yeah.
just is.
Well, she sees that I work 80 hours a week. So, and
Yeah,
it's
you're
like,
gonna have like a delegation dilemma, but it sounds like you're already on top of it.
yeah, I'm trying to be. So, yeah.
Hopefully that was valuable. Honestly, it was a really good interview from Richard. I totally appreciate the questions that he asked. I think we had a really good conversation. If you are an architect and you're considering growing your firm, go to revmax.com, click top right where it says schedule, or just click the link in the description and book a call with our team so that we could really try to find some alignment how we can best help you grow, help yourself get more attention, help yourself convert that attention into actually close projects. We can do it, or go ahead and check out other videos on the channel to actually get yourself more educated. Again, the value here is free. Take it, soak it up. Love to see how we can best help if need be. Ciao.